was like Open Notorious Squad for about a year or two before we ended up moving in. That was when I was 6, and then I just stayed there for the rest of it. And and then I lived in San Francisco for a year from 10 to 11. I lived in Texas, in Garland, Texas from 15 to 16. But pretty much in general, I grew up on the Lower East Side.
So you consider yourself a New Yorker?
Oh, I'm definitely a New Yorker, like unequivocally
Is that where you
a New
live
Yorker. No, it's funny, I live in LA now, but I'm always going to be a New Yorker. I live also part-time in London, and it was interesting because it was sort of that same thing. Like London feels like this mix between LA and New York. It's all like spread out and it's a lot of driving, but you get the theater and you get the parks and you get the museums and it's just really amazing. So, and you get to travel. Like, it's a great place. It's a very international space. So that's what I love about New York. I mean, I was just there. We just filmed Top 5 there as well. We shot Marvel there for the Daredevil Netflix miniseries. And to be able to be home is really amazing. I imported my mom for Thanksgiving this time around. We're going to do more of like an orphan Thanksgiving. But
so if you want to,
get back home,
you have a stronger New York accent that you can.
If I want to, yes.
Into.
And every once in a while it'll come out as well. Like I remember just going, I want a dog, and I'm like, wait, what did that happen? I don't know what just happened. It just kind of happens. But yeah, like New York is interesting. I remember I was landing in New York and I was coming over from the airport, taking a bridge over, and I had this massive headache from traveling, and I was just like really, really tired, and it was like all these flights, I think I'd come like really far from international or whatever. And as soon as I was on the car, like driving over, I calmed down, and like the lights and all the noise and the smells and everything, and I just like relaxed, and I was like, oh, I'm home. And then I thought, wow, that's really weird. I know some people who'd be like getting really stressed actually right now because it's so much, but for me it just made me feel good to be home, so I love New York.
Top 5 is a real New York movie.
It is. It's a very New York movie.
And it's a walking and talking movie. I mean, my favorite parts of the movie are you and Chris Rock walking down the street, going at it, really like fast.
Yeah.
So talk about filming those scenes and what that was like.
That's Chris and I. I've known Chris since I was 19 years old, and that's that kind of like tit for tat is like how we've been for a really, really long time. And I thought it was really cool that we were able to translate that to the film with fictional characters, and they're just really both smart characters, and Chris is an evisceratingly smart man, and so it was really amazing to just get that opportunity to have comedy and have all of these really amazing people in it, but it be not so broad that it was silly, that it actually is smart and it's poignant, and there's some really thoughtful things, and I think that's something you're used to with Chris. He really translated what his stage comedy, stand-up is actually to the screen. It's always been something where he's going to push it. He always pushes certain boundaries. He makes you laugh at things you couldn't fathom laughing at.
Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, Saturday Night Live was one of them. That Boston Marathon joke, I remember him telling us last summer at the Comedy Cellar, and people were like, I remember being in this room of people, and he started going off on this joke, and everyone went, like this deep inhalation, like I'm sorry, was he making a joke with the Boston Marathon bombing? Like, there's no way that this is going to be at all funny. And then he went, run! And everyone went, oh, okay, that's actually okay to laugh at. Like, they were like, that's actually kind of funny. Good on you. But he's just got that perspective. He has this way of thinking about things and then delivering them to you in a way where it really lives in your body. So now you're actually thinking about the same things that he thinks about, and potentially from the same perspective that he does. And if you disagree with it, you disagree with it, but he makes you think about it anyway. And that's not something that everybody does. And as a filmmaker, that's exactly what you should be doing. And that's why I think he's such a great filmmaker and makes this movie so special. You
have done very well over the course of your career with roles that have plenty of juice. They're hard to come by.
Yeah.
This is one of the great female roles. You
Amazingly.
really do stand up to him. You're as smart as he is. And
he got me to be funny.
And you're playing a journalist, with a flip cam.
I know,
right?
which
I love that. I love that. Because since I happen to use one too. But what was it like on the page versus what you were doing live?
Actually I've known Chris since I was 19, and when he first wrote it with me in mind, and he approached me on it, and I was like, wow, this is going to be really special. It's very funny. It's really cool. Good luck with that. And he was like, wait, excuse me, what? And I was like, well, you know, my grandmother passed at the time 2 years ago, and I've done 8 projects since, and I've just not slowed down, and I just need to take some time to be with my family and to be home and like chill. And he's like, yeah, we're shooting it here in New York though, that'd be great. I'm like, yeah, but okay, I like this character, but I feel like she needs some zhuzhing, you know, and maybe I could play Erica. I was like, can I play Erica? He was like, no, that's gonna be Gabrielle Union. You have to play this part. And I was like, well, you know, we're friends though, and you're the writer, director, producer, actor in it. Like, how overly precious are you going to be about your lines? Because I think they need a little zhuzhing. And he goes, well, that's my whole thing, is put your stank on it. Like, this is your role. I want you to make it your role. Like, let's collaborate, you know? And he convinced me that he actually would literally do that. And I've been there before. That doesn't always happen. And I felt like this was probably the most collaborative experience I've had since, I don't know, potentially maybe 7 pounds. I had a lot of input on 7 pounds as well, and I got to like take a character that I really liked and make her someone that I really loved, you know. And I got to do the same thing with Chelsea Brown. Like, I love Chelsea Brown. I'm like so interested in who she is. She's this woman. She's dealing with sobriety. She's got a little girl that she's taking care of at home. She's a single mom living with her mom. You know, got mouths to feed, bills to pay. She's hustling, you know what I mean? She does a little photography on the side. She does this on the side. She's got a crazy haircut because she's multiple people in one, and it makes sense, you know, and she's going to hold his feet to the fire and like not let it go, and she's going to be aggressive about that, and she's going to expose herself in the process as she's trying to get him to reveal about himself. And I think that's a really cool thing. I know journalists. I'm friends with a lot of journalists, and it's a very interesting job. And I think a lot of people forget that when you're reading this expose on someone, that it's through the filter and lens of somebody else. And sometimes it's really good to see that. And the fact that as you get to know more about him, you get to know more about her, makes the whole dynamic between them make that much more sense. And it makes you love a proper journalist. It makes you love an open celebrity, like all of that. Like she's a fan. You never want to walk away from that moment.
Yeah.
I'm very open. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's that thing of like, you know, if someone's there, this is the opportunity. I don't get to talk to every single fan personally, but you see that every time. And now with social media, you get that. People ask you questions. You know, they want to know stuff. They want to have hey, I saw this movie, and what was this like? You know, like, that's why we have that. You know, there's such a plethora now of behind the scenes footage and direct